The night was dark and silent, the only sounds the soft rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze. I lay in bed, half asleep, my senses dulled by the late hour. The moon's pale glow painted streaks of light across my room, casting eerie patterns on the walls. That's when I heard it. A faint creaking sound, like a footstep on the hardwood floor downstairs. My heart began to race and I strained to listen in the darkness. Was it just my imagination playing tricks on me? But then, there it was again. The unmistakable sound of someone moving downstairs. Panic surged through me as I realized I was not alone in my house. I had locked all the doors and windows, hadn't I? I reached for my phone on the bedside table, my trembling fingers struggling to dial 911. As I brought it to my ear, the creaking sound grew louder, closer. My breath caught in my throat, and I whispered my address to the operator, my voice barely more than a terrified whimper. I hung up, clutching the phone to my chest, and debated whether to hide or confront the intruder. Fear held me in place, and I lay there, listening to the slow, deliberate footsteps moving up the stairs. The door to my room creaked open, and a shadowy figure emerged in the moonlight. My heart pounded in my chest as I strained to see who it was. A man, tall and looming, with a hood pulled low over his face. I could feel his malevolent gaze fixated on me. "Who are you?" I stammered, my voice trembling. The intruder didn't respond. Instead, he advanced slowly, his movements deliberate and menacing. Panic surged through me, and I threw the phone at him, hoping to buy myself a few seconds. The phone struck him in the chest, and he stumbled back, letting out an enraged growl. With adrenaline coursing through my veins, I leaped out of bed and bolted for the door. The intruder lunged after me, his fingers brushing my shoulder as I sprinted down the hall. My heart pounded in my ears as I reached the top of the stairs, the darkness below seeming to stretch endlessly. Without thinking, I threw myself down the stairs, tumbling and crashing to the floor below. Pain shot through my limbs as I scrambled to my feet, my eyes scanning the room for an escape. The front door was just a few feet away, but the intruder was already closing in. I sprinted for the door, throwing it open and stumbling out into the night. I didn't dare look back as I ran through the dark streets, my breath ragged and my heart racing. I didn't stop until I reached a neighbor's house, pounding on the door until they answered. The police arrived shortly after, but by the time they searched my house, the intruder was long gone. They found no signs of forced entry, and my windows and doors were all securely locked. It was as if the intruder had simply vanished into thin air. Days turned into weeks, and I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every shadow seemed to hold a hidden threat, and every creak of the floorboards in the night sent shivers down my spine. I installed security cameras, changed all the locks, and even had an alarm system installed, but the fear remained. One night, as I lay in bed, the room bathed in the soft glow of the moon, I heard it again, the faint creaking of footsteps on the hardwood floor. My heart sank as I realized the intruder had returned. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, my voice trembling as I whispered my address to the operator. The footsteps grew louder, closer, and I knew I had no choice but to confront the intruder once more. As the door to my room creaked open, I flung the phone at the figure, just as I had done before. But this time, there was no stumble, no enraged growl. The figure simply stood there, unmoving, the phone striking it in the chest and falling to the floor. And then, in the moonlight, I saw its face, the face of the intruder who had haunted my nightmares. It was me, my own reflection staring back at me with empty, lifeless eyes. I screamed, a sound that echoed through the room and into the darkness beyond. The figure raised a finger to its lips, as if urging me to be silent, and then slowly retreated, disappearing into the shadows. The police arrived soon after, but there was no sign of the intruder, no trace of my own doppelganger. They searched the house and found nothing amiss, no evidence of a break-in, and no explanation for what had occurred. I moved away from that house, haunted by the memory of that night. But no matter where I went, I could never escape the feeling of being watched, of being pursued by the intruder who wore my own face.